we want to talk about being prepared. We want to talk about what it takes to develop the mindset of consistency, to develop a mindset of excellence. And what we like to do is bring on guests and have conversations centered around that. I remember when I first started practicing yoga, and again, I would drive into Manhattan, not when I first started, but when I first started training to become what I am right now. I would drive into Manhattan from Queens, and sometimes it took an hour and a half. Sometimes it took a little longer, depending on what time. And I would pay for parking right across the street from the yoga studio just to go and do 5 sun salutation A's. But it was those 5 sun salutation A's that turned into an entire practice. Today we have Brett Lockett joining us. How are you, Brett?
But it was a great time while I played there. And it's funny because I was with the Patriots for 3 years before that. And so to jump over to the Jets, it was great because it was a job, but I was like, man, this feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm cheating. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I could do this, but it was a great time, man. And Jet fans are great, die hard, just like New England fans.
We're talking about preparation, and you were there. So if you left, you was there probably during
2013. Yeah, Rex Ryan was.
Yep. Era. So you heard me talk about preparation and mindset and shifts like that.
And I'll give you a perfect example of that. I went to UCLA. I was there for 4 years and jumped right into pro football. So the Cleveland Browns tried to put me on practice squad. Patriots picked me up literally same day. And so I'm flying to New England. I found out at 4:30. I'm on a plane to Boston at 7:30, meeting Bill Belichick the next day, and then going into practice. I learned the linebackers, the end, the tackles, the corners, but it can also tear you down. And you got to understand when to utilize that and when not to. But the key is having a base plan in your mind to where, okay, this is the plan. If it doesn't go that way, I can adjust, right? Tom Brady wasn't a star coming out of college.
Smart guys like you.
Julian Edelman wasn't a star coming out of college. He had 4 kickoff returns, 4 touchdowns, which broke a UCLA record and, got some notoriety, and then went to pro day and ran a 4.3. Patriots drafted him in the 6th round. He just retired 16 years later. They were able to pull in guys that were not first round draft picks and be able to mold and develop these guys. Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Adam Amendola. We were really the first offense we had Ben Watson first. The gift of the Patriots, and I think it really starts with the front office. It starts with Robert Kraft down to Bill and then down to the GM, is they were great at just finding great talent that wasn't extremely expensive as an athlete, especially at that level. If you make it to that level, you have to be a diehard optimist because there's no way. When it's wintertime, the leaves fall off, right? When it's summer, they come back. It's aligned. When you're becoming the butterfly, everybody wants to come around you and build the team. Like my story is probably the same story as probably 85% of the NFL, maybe 90. Okay. When you get dropped, and you literally get dropped because there's not a support system. So I'm still a young kid when I was 26, 27. Your whole identity is shaken. Who you are is compromised in what you thought your life was going to become is a completely new reality. That's why breakups are so hard, right? That's really what football is. There's no way for me to make a relationship work when I'm trying to figure out who the hell I am. I call it the last almost 7-8 years for me was really understanding who I am today. I was like, this looks fun. This is great. I looked at success as monetary, right? Just because you're successful in business doesn't mean you're successful in life. How can I be successful in life as well as find happiness? Went to Unleash the Power Within in Los Angeles, blew everything open, right? Great speaker, one of the best books that I've read on high performance. Started understanding the neuroscience behind that. Guys like Andrew Huberman sit on our board. I have never experienced so much bliss and so much love for myself and the people around me on a freaking yoga mat breathing for 30 minutes. Meditation can be for everybody. You just need to have the right guide to sit you down and take you through the experience. When we come to this planet, we forget exactly who we are.
Yeah. The body is made to heal itself. But we have to do the things that are necessary for that healing to manifest itself. And a lot of times we want to hustle to the money, especially from New York. When you're going into business with a hustler's mentality, you're only going to make hustlers money. Money is also a currency in the spirit.
But the difference is the white kids go back to Beverly Hills and Pacific Palisades where the beaches are and it's nice with $1 million homes, and the black kids go back to the hood. Money has nothing to do with your quality of life outside of you being able to survive. There's too many people worried about chasing a bag as opposed to figuring out what my purpose is. And there's too many people hustling that have 2 or 3, 4 or 5 main things. A lot of them are stressed out. A lot of them don't know how to express emotions. The biggest thing with Americans in general is we don't know how to handle stress, right? Which is why we're all diabetics, heart attacks, obesity. The reason why you eat so much is because you're stressed. The reason why you're angry is because you're stressed, because of work, right? We've built a system that's not sustainable for people. Breathwork is the best way that I found to, in 15 to 30 minutes, to be able to figure out why you're stressed and how to relieve that stress. You may lay down on a yoga mat and start breathing and be like, oh, I'm good. And all of a sudden you're crying and snot bubbles coming out of your nose and you're like, what the hell is going on? I remember the first time my parents did breath work. They've been together for 45 years. And I spoke to my dad afterwards and I was like, how was it? He's like, man, he was like, you got me thinking about things that happened in 1960, 1970 that I haven't even thought about in 40 years. The breath allows you to tap into higher levels of cognitive ability because your brain is turning off. It's something called transient hypofrontality, where your brain turns off and your neocortex turns off, which is the thinking brain, and it allows you to just go into bliss. That's how profound breath work is. And that's the reason why I decided to get certified in it. There's a few things that need to happen in the next few years for the I'd say America to really translate and transition into the next phase of where we should be going. And it's mindfulness. The biggest thing, the reason why we have all these issues is because of division, right? We're divided by race. We're divided by socioeconomic class. We're divided by our neighborhoods. We don't raise kids anymore with 10, 15 families. I had an ego that was involved, but it wasn't until I started to realize that we're all interconnected that we should all be working together. We all deal with the exact same issues, usually rooted in our childhood. I wish I could do breath work in the White House. So the breath work that I've learned, there's tons of different types of breathing, right? You have box breathing, we do deep diaphragmatic breathing. A deeper session, like 30 to 35 minutes, we'll move through that. And the way that it works is there's some NLP that's embedded in the way that I speak to people in the session. I got breath work for understanding your higher self. I got breath work for the divine feminine. I got breath work for getting over a breakup. One breath work is like the first step, right? If you do 3 to 4 breath works back to back to back, like day after day, deep ones, you'll transform more than you've ever transformed in the last 5-6 years. And I feel like the biggest problem is that we'll feel these emotions, we'll feel these things come up, we'll have these ahas, and then it's like New Year's, right? It's having the realization and then taking that realization and putting it in action. So when you're supposed to be filming episodes on a podcast, you're supposed to be out there practicing, you're supposed to be doing this, X, Y, and Z, and you're not doing it, you're letting not yourself down, but you're letting everybody else down, because I feed off of you, Ron, right? You feed off of me, right? When you start diminishing who you are, your character, your values, the individual that you're supposed to become, you're not just doing yourself a disservice, right? You're doing the whole a disservice.